My friends, we've got a chance this year to save a lot of lives. The good news is we went public last year with millions of other truth tellers and pointed out that the vaccine insert for the H1N1 flu shot admitted that it could cause neurological disorders, Guillain-Barrés, you name it. And people actually went out and read the vaccine insert instead of believing the corporate media paid off by Big Pharma to lie to you. Since then, the head of the EU Commission, Wolfgang Wodarg, medical doctor, has come out and said that they found all the evidence showing that vaccine makers had paid off politicians in Europe and the United States to hype this dangerous vaccine and that it had serious health ramifications. The British Medical Journal has come out with a major report. I even interviewed the editor of the journal saying, yes, clearly this was hype to sell vaccines. Since then, the British government has had to suspend giving the H1N1 shot to under 5-year-olds, admitting that it caused a 10-fold increase in violent convulsions in children. The government of Finland has come out and said it's causing all sorts of neurological disorders, like narcolepsy. All over the world, people are waking up. Also last year, we saw a record low numbers of people taking the regular seasonal shot and the H1N1. So now they're combining both the shots together. And because we had record low numbers of people taking the vaccines worldwide, we had a record low flu season because the real studies show that it's the flu vaccine in most cases that's causing the flu. You've seen the anecdotal evidence of your friends and family or yourself saying, yeah, I never got the flu. I took the flu shot. It almost killed me. Same thing happened to my mother. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the United Nations documents. We have the Rockefeller Foundation documents from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and right through, admitting they developed vaccines for flu or tetanus, where they add chemicals and hormones that reduce your fertility or sterilize you. They admit they're doing this. So it's not that there couldn't be a clean, safe vaccine developed. I'm not arguing about that science. The point is they've been caught spiking vaccines all over the world as part of these United Nations World Health Organization programs for covert sterilization, and we even have the Rockefeller Foundation documents. This is even mainstream news now. But on top of all of that, 90+% of the vaccines that we're using here in the United States and Europe are made in China. China was a signatory to the one-child policy. They were a signatory to the United Nations agreements to use food and medicine as weapons to forcibly reduce their population. They're the folks that give you melamine-tainted milk and bisphenol A-coated plastics. I mean, this is a nightmare situation. So the globalists have contracted with these dehumanizing tyrants to produce not just our vaccines, but most of our medicines. This is so horrifying, and I know it's hard for people to be able to admit this to themselves. But if you'll just go research the facts, it's all there. And the good news is record numbers of people are refusing to take the vaccines, and record numbers of people are reading the literature and finding out how deadly this is, and government after government after government, from England to Australia, from Finland to India, is having to totally suspend or restrict giving these shots because people now understand how dangerous it is because there's such a wide swath of death and destruction in its wake. We're starting to win. We're starting to have an effect. And that's why the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has given money to Monsanto and others to come up with pharmacological crops that grow the vaccines inside of the food so there's no way for you to escape it. That's why Bill Gates is looking at releasing genetically engineered mosquitoes to, quote, inoculate you.
There's new drug discovery going on. Our foundation has backed a vaccine that's going into phase 3 trial that starts in a couple months.
Literally releasing bugs that come out and inject you with these things. They're not playing games. They want to force you to go under this eugenic system. Every time the global elite meet and they set up these philanthropic organizations, all they talk about is population control. This is what they're obsessed with. They don't like going to the Grand Canyon and seeing big crowds. They want all the science and technology for themselves, not for the general population. It's the ultimate form of greed and envy and control. It's a scorched earth policy of total monopoly over humanity. You are being slowly killed. Cancers are off the charts. Every other form of degenerative disease is off the charts. And they know that the vaccines, the sodium fluoride, the bisphenol A, and all of these chemicals are doing it. And we have their own documents admitting it. So in closing, warn everyone you know. Send them the vaccine inserts. They're online, where it says it can cause cancer, where it says it can cause neurological disorders, where it admits that it's even caused deaths. Send them all the mainstream news articles that we're going to link below, where major governments are having to suspend the shots because it's causing so much carnage. And warn them that the regular seasonal flu shots this year are going to have this H1N1 and whatever else they're adding to it. Warn everyone you know. This is incredibly serious. Bayer Pharmaceutical admitted in court that for over a decade they knowingly sent out factor VIII blood product to hemophiliacs, knowing it was a death sentence of hepatitis and HIV. They did it cold-bloodedly as part of a eugenics program. The crimes of Big Pharma are legion, and they need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought to justice. But there's a revolving door between Big Pharma, GMO, and the government. Almost every major federal regulator, not just here, but in every other major country, is a former alumni of these companies who own stock. And then they leave the government and go back into those companies and move up that ladder of power for selling out their fellow humans. This is part of the eugenics agenda. And when you see car washes getting IRS visits over 4 cents of unpaid money, you understand that the system has its investigators going after petty stuff like Roger Clemens. So what if he reportedly did steroids? He supposedly lied to Congress? That's not good. Using steroids isn't good. But compared to the former Treasury Secretary lying to Congress about where the bailout money went, then later admitting it didn't go to the mortgages, that's trillions of dollars of taxpayer money. What about the millions of brain-damaged kids from all these vaccines? Why are we hearing about Roger Clemens? Why are we hearing about 4 cents of unpaid taxes at a car wash? Why are there investigators involved in this? Because it's ways to spend all the investigators' resources on petty things that get the government's name in the papers to make it look like they're tracking down crime when they are the main source and progenitor of the crime. Expose the vaccines. To learn more about this and other vital topics, visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the sites, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast or subscribe to the free podcast at Infowars.com. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.